Let's go Scotland. Let's go Scotland. Let's go Scotland. Greetings, I am Luke Exuberance, the Small Screen King, and today we're talking about Lungleg and their 1997 cult classic Made to Minx. I finally own the LP of this. This is, I think, the third of the birthday gifts that I've talked about in the last couple of videos. And yeah, like my tarot deck, go watch that video here. This is a gift that I got for myself. Yeah, I was on Instagram around the time of my birthday, and I think some new trade tariff news had just hit the public, and someone said very astutely that the Discogs business model is just screwed, and I was like, ooh. So I immediately started racking my brains. I was like, what is an album that I don't already own that I need to own that probably ships from Europe and I need to get my hands on before it's too late? And there were a few contenders. I was thinking of like my favorite Yugoslav bands like Ozra and Film, and don't get me wrong, they make great music, but in the end, the answer was clear. One way or another, I had to get my hands on Made to Minx. Anyway, a little bit about my history with this album. First of all, it's no surprise to anyone who watches this channel that I love Franz Ferdinand. That is one of my favorite bands ever. I love Belle and Sebastian. I love Mogwai. There are a ton of great bands from Glasgow, Scotland. And so pretty much ever since I was like a teenager, I was like, what are they putting in the water over there? So when I was like 17 or 18, I acquired this bad boy, the Guided Missiles Hits and Missiles compilation from, I think 1997. Yeah, the main reason I got it was because there's the earliest version of the Franz Ferdinand song Outsiders on here. But yeah, I was super curious to hear the other bands on here too, namely the Yummy Fur. There's an early Biss song on here. Yeah, there are a ton of bands on here that I just recognized from the journalistic sphere around Franz Ferdinand. But yeah, that compilation introduced me to a lot of good stuff, from Lugworm. I already mentioned, you know, the Yummy Fur. There was that Karelia song that became the Franz Ferdinand song. But perhaps the best track on the compilation came from a little band called Lungleg. It was a demo of the song Theme Park off of the album I'm about to talk about. But yeah, that was kind of my first introduction to Lungleg. And of course, there's the Franz Ferdinand cover of the title track of Made to Minx, which I also love. So for a long time, I was very, very curious about this album. I kind of live by an adage that if a band has two good songs, you should probably check out the rest of their discography. And sadly, besides some rips on YouTube, there was a long time where I couldn't find anything from Lungleg. Cut to my senior year of college, 2022, Lungleg reissues the album. There's a version on Spotify. I listened to it cover to cover, and it is one of those albums where I'm just like, this is something that seems like it was made exactly for my tastes. And I really wanted to buy the reissue with the pink vinyl, but I was a broke college student, and like shipping from the UK is very cost prohibitive. So I held off on it, but I knew in my heart of hearts I was going to own a copy of this album one day. And so when I read that comment about the tariffs, I was like, this is the moment. So yeah, I kind of just went on Discogs and found whatever version of the album would ship to me quickest. And I was totally expecting it to be from like the previous run of pressings with like just normal black vinyl, but it's pink. I held off on buying this album for so long that I feel like I don't deserve the pink vinyl, but I'll take it. Anyway, this is just one of those albums that has everything going for it. I mean, like, look at that artwork. Apparently, the artwork was done by a guy named Jaime Hernandez, who is the illustrator of a comic series called Love and Rockets, which I'm not cool enough to have read. But yeah, when I was delving into this record in my last year of college, I had taken up freelance graphic design, and this artwork definitely inspired a piece or two. But yeah, like I said, this album has everything going for it. It kind of reminds me of like Adam Ant or something, in the sense that it's really zany, kind of rough around the edges, but also it's just pure pop. These melodies burrow their way into your brain and just like kind of live there. Actually, if you catch my lips moving in the footage of me changing my guitar strings, it's because I'm singing Lungleg songs to myself. Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, I'd really appreciate if you left a like down below, maybe subscribed if you aren't already. If you're new here, my name's Luke Exuberance. I am the public universal bandmate, and if you're seeing this, you just joined my band. So I'd really appreciate if you stuck around, and with that, let's get back into the rest of the video. Yeah, my hot take is that Lungleg walked so Franz Ferdinand could run. And when people talk about the forerunners to Franz Ferdinand, they always talk about the Karelia, obviously, because that was the band Alex Kapranos had before he started Franz Ferdinand. They also talk about the Yummy Fur because both Mr. Kapranos and the drummer Paul Thompson played in the Yummy Fur simultaneously in the 90s. But the thing about the Yummy Fur is that they have nothing in common with Franz Ferdinand besides being rock bands from Glasgow. Now, don't quote me on this, but the fact that Alex Kapranos has a blurb in the insert of this album makes me think that he saw Lung Leg and was like, that's what it's all about. And I would agree with him. This is what it's all about. Yeah, this album is just cover to cover bangers. And, you know, this isn't even to write off the Yummy Fur. In fact, I might make a video about the Yummy Fur at some point. But no, the singer of Lung Leg, Jane Egypt, I believe was inspired to found the band by her brother, the singer and founder of the Yummy Fur. So it all comes full circle. And this is completely tangential, but there's a song on this album called Viva by Spectacular that references Shaka Khan, and it makes me think of a Yummy Fur song that also references Shaka Khan. I guess they just fucking had Shaka Khan playing in their household when they were growing up. But this album's freaking great. I know I keep saying that. Just go check it out yourself. There's a part of me that wants to do that music reviewer thing where it's like, oh yes, the guitars on this track are very angular and they sound like ray guns. And it's like, I'm not going to do that. At the end of the day, this is just a fun, energetic album. I'll point out some highlights. First of all, it starts off with the song Previous Condition, which is the most upbeat song about having a fever dream or maybe a bad come down that I've ever heard. Then there's Disco Biscuit, which this is one of my favorite songs on the album. Just a very humorous song about taking too many drugs at the club. There's a line about her friend taking too much speed and her teeth falling out and landing on the dance floor. And I guess I'll break my rule. The guitars on this song are indeed angular. I have no idea how you even get that guitar tone. But yeah, it's just this really jumpy song built on this wiggy earworm of a riff. Theme Park is a similarly funny taboo song about having sex in public. I love the line, "Here comes a jogger, act normal." There's almost like body horror and like psychological thriller elements going on The Shaver. Juanita is just like a nice classy song. The eponymous Made to Minx is the high watermark of the album. That song slaps so hard. The melody on the chorus is just incredible, and I'm always really impressed by bands where the bassist is also the singer. I have no idea how Jane Egypt is managing to maintain the meter of the chorus lyrics and also play bass at the same time. It's just incredible to me. Then there's Right Now Baby, which I think this might be tied with Made to Minx as the best song on the album. This song sounds like it'd be in like a coming of age movie. It's so good. I love the limerent lyrics on Whiskey A Go Go. My palm is your ashtray. Like, I just want to be like, girl, we've all been there. There's the aforementioned Viva by Spectacular, which kind of has this sneaky, slinky sort of vibe to it. I love Lust for Legs' nod to Iggy Pop. That song is just a face melter too. You could tell that they kind of wrote it at the rehearsal and were like, oh yeah, people are going to be running around in the pit to this one. There's the very downtrodden Lonely Man and the similarly defeated FSR, which I think has my favorite guitar playing on the album. And I really love the song Crayola. In keeping with my thesis, I think this is Lung Leg drawing up the blueprint to Franz Ferdinand right here at the end of their album. Right down to the octave bass and the soaring backing vocals. That's another thing. Lung Leg are the masters of backing vocals. With the exception of whatever boy they have on drums at any given time, everyone in this band sings, and it really adds another dimension to every single track. Yeah, it's just a really nice driving dance track. Then there's A Different Love, which I think pairs very nicely with the other hidden track on this album, Whiskey A Go Go. Whiskey A Go Go is a lot more like the Minutemen though, whereas this sounds like when you're already really drunk and nodding off. So there you have it. Lung Leg. Go check it out for yourself. Highly recommend. And with that, I think I'm going to sign off here. Go check out Lung Leg. I feel like I'm always talking about Lung Leg with people, and no one ever checks out Lung Leg. I'm making a whole video so that way people will go check out Lung Leg, okay? Anyway, next time I think we're going to be writing songs with tarot cards again. I had a lot of fun doing that last time, so we're doing it again, baby. If you liked this video, I'd really appreciate if you left a like, comment, subscribed. But yeah, this has been Luke Thaney, Luke Tano. Lung Leg forever. Ha 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 ha.